What's up, guys? Welcome to week 9 of the Flea Flicker with Jackson Kane. Great day to be here. It's Friday. I'm ready for week 9. Let's get to it. All right, QB love for this week. Sam Bradford versus Detroit. Lions are tied for the league lead in passing touchdowns allowed through 8 games. Um, I suspect a bounce back game for Sam Bradford after that dud he put up at Chicago last week. Dak Prescott at Cleveland. Cleveland, fourth worst against fantasy QBs this year, 20 points per game allowed. The Browns are tied for the league lead with 33 20-plus yard completions allowed. So, like Dak Prescott this week. Aaron Rodgers versus Indy. Indy's allowed 15 total TDs to QBs this year. And Aaron Rodgers has at least 28 completions and 3 passing touchdowns in his last 2 games. So, like Aaron Rodgers. QB hate this week, Derek Carr versus Denver. That Denver D secondary is great, although they won't have Aqib Talib. That is noteworthy. Amari Cooper's banged up, so just don't like the matchup. Tyrod Taylor at Seattle. Seattle's tied for the league lead for lowest amount of passing TDs allowed this year with 5, and likely no LaShawn McCoy this week, so don't like Tyrod Taylor. Carson Wentz at the Giants. Giants are allowing just 13 points per game to opposing QBs. Carson Wentz has just totaled 4 passing touchdowns on the road this season, so don't like Carson Wentz. All right, wide receiver love this week. Jarvis Landry versus the Jets. Jets are one of 3 teams to have allowed at least 115 receptions to receivers this year, so start Jarvis Landry. Dez Bryant at Cleveland had a great game last week. Cleveland's allowing 25.5 fantasy points and 11 TDs to the position this year, and Dez looks fully healthy, so like him this week. Demaryius Thomas / Emmanuel Sanders at Oakland. Oakland ranks second in yards allowed to opposing receivers with 1,570. They average over 23 points per game allowed to fantasy wideouts. Wide receiver hate this week. I talked about him earlier. Amari Cooper versus Denver. He's got a back issue, and he's also dealing with that Denver secondary. Healthy receivers haven't been able to put up numbers against them, so don't like Amari Cooper this week. Marvin Jones at Minnesota. The Vikes and Pats are the only teams to have allowed 1 or fewer 40-plus yard passing plays this year, so don't like Marvin Jones. That's his game, stretch the field, so it's hard to play him this week. Terrell Pryor versus Dallas. He's been dealing with a hamstring issue. And Corey Coleman is expected back this week, so that might take away some of his targets and production. Running back love this week, Tim Hightower / Mark Ingram at San Fran. I know Mark Ingram got benched last week, but it's going to be a likely timeshare. They're playing San Fran, the league's worst rushing defense, allowing 185 rushing yards a game. That's a lot. That's like 40 more yards than the second worst team. So I like both of them. Ezekiel Elliott at Cleveland. If you've noticed, I like a lot of Cowboys this week. Let's see. I love Cowboys. Said in my blog he could have 150 and 2 touchdowns this week. That's how much I like him. DeMarco Murray at San Diego. I feel like he's on this list every week, on the love list. Let's see. San Diego allowing most completions to backs this year with 66. So that's part of his game. He comes out of the backfield, gets a lot of catches. So love DeMarco Murray this week. Running back hate, Mike Gillislee at Seattle. Seattle's allowed just 2 total TDs to the position. Don't like the matchup. Isaiah Crowell versus Dallas. Cowboys have turned into a formidable defense. Obviously, they're 6-1 right now. They've allowed just 4 20-plus yard rushes and 0 40-plus yard rushes this year. Todd Gurley versus Carolina. Carolina's allowing just over 12 fantasy points to running backs, and they held down David Johnson last week, so not a fan of the matchup. Tight end love this week, Kyle Rudolph. Kyle freaking Rudolph versus Detroit. 8 TDs allowed to the position by the Lions. which is most in the league, and they're allowing 12 fantasy points to tight ends on average. Jason Witten at Cleveland, another Cowboy. Let's see. I'll bet he finds the end zone this week. 50 completions and 6 total TDs, 2 tight ends this year given up by the Browns. Antonio Gates versus Tennessee. Hunter Henry is unlikely to play this week. He's been missing practice. Also, Travis Benjamin and Tyrell Williams are banged up. So, love Antonio Gates this week. Titans are also 8th worst against tight ends. Tight end hate this week. Charles Clay at Seattle. As you can see, I don't like Bills this week. Just 1 TD allowed to the position by Seattle. And also just 25 catches. Jimmy Graham versus Buffalo. Just 4.8 fantasy points allowed to tight ends by Buffalo and just 1 touchdown. Zach Ertz at New York Giants. Just 337 yards allowed by the Giants this year. 2 tight ends and just under 5 fantasy points per game. All right, so to my picks. Chance to dance. I've got it 3 weeks in a row. I'm feeling good after that 0 for 5 start. Ezekiel Elliott at Cleveland. I think he'll find the end zone. Waste of space this week. I am 3 for 8 this season on waste of space. Amari Cooper versus Denver. My 3 bold predictions. I'm 10 for 24 this year. Not great. Got to get that percentage up. My first one. Dallas will score at least 31 points at the Browns this week. Like I said, I love the Cowboys. Jarvis Landry will have at least 9 catches or 100 yards against the Jets this week. And my last bold prediction, Andrew Luck and Aaron Rodgers will combine for at least 4 passing TDs in Week 9. So that's the Flea Flicker Week 9 edition. Thanks for watching, guys. Good luck with all your matchups in Week 9. Thanks.